I record the videos as well. I have a YouTube channel, so if you're interested, you could be. Anyway, so today we are going to kind of talk about where the two main guard situations we'll be focusing on this whole semester kind of disconnect, right? We've talked about how, if I grab you, John, I have the butterfly guard, the three ranges, right? So I have kind of clinching range, so close range butterfly. I have mid-range butterfly, which would usually be like a collar tie or something, right? And I have my different attacks from here. Let's see, back up here. Boom, where I can go for these arm bars and things. And then we have long range butterfly, where he's pretty much at the end of my pose. And I can do like collar drags and things of this nature and all this, right? If I'm in long range, say yourself in front of me, and okay, maybe he doesn't want to deal with his butterfly, he grabs the pants or whatever, and he starts to stand up and disengage, well, I have my collar and sleeve as a really simple, immediate solution to start attacking him with. And again, as I laid out in the beginning of the semester, your collar and sleeve could be, okay, we go back down, he stands up, could be my De La Riva, right? It could be, say we go back down, he stands up. It could be my X guard. Like, it doesn't really matter which specific open guard situation you use, the principle still applies. If I am in a seated guard and he defends that or escapes that by standing up to pass, I then go to a guard where my back is on the floor, my feet are up, right? X guard, De La Riva guard, collar and sleeve, etc. Spider guard, it's just a matter of like understanding the principle here. But on occasion, we suck at jiu-jitsu, all of us, a little bit, some more than others. And then what if I just pointedly look in a direction, and we make the mistake of losing contact with our opponent when they disengage. So we're here, I'm in the butterfly, we were fighting, and he stands up, and now I'm kind of here. And this is sort of awkward because I try to shoot in, bam, get the collar and sleeve, but now he's at the end of my feet, he walks back, he smashes my knees, everybody laughs, it's embarrassing, my whole family's upset with me about it, it's like a whole thing, right? So, that's bad. Even more problematic is, let's say you're here, and instead of him trying to grab my pants and just sort of like Toriano pass, he just stands up and disengages, completely. And now we're here. And we're in this sort of like, completely open guard situation. I have no enclaspment, I have nothing I'm holding on to, right? So we're going to talk about a couple of ideas and a couple of movements we can use here today. We go back to the beginning. So actually, John, you just stand in front of me. We go back to the very beginning, guys. Remember that anytime I'm in the open guard, in a seated open guard, where I don't really have any connection, I want my butt behind my shoulders and my elbows in front of my knees. So if John gives me a good shove, I'm pretty solid. Like, whereas if my butt is directly under my shoulders, you give me a good shove. Okay. So I want to be here, okay? Now, it's tempting to reach out and try to grab something, okay? It's tempting as he's standing in front of me for me to go, and reach up for my grips and try to pull in. This is not really a great idea. The reason why this isn't a really great idea is because in this moment where I adjust, he has a lot of options of just evading my feet. Right? Maybe I get here, and then, well, let's just say, John, we'll go back. As I kind of pull, I just want you to take this hand, grab my pant legs, and just kind of move me this way, right? So, no. So meaning I'm going to scoot in and try to put my feet on you, and just very lightly, you don't have to do it hard, just push my legs to the side, right? Like, so as I'm trying to lock up a collar and sleeve or something, I come in, you shuffle to the left, now you've passed my guard, right? Not to say you can't grab your guard sometimes like that, but just to say that it's definitely risky. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to think about positioning first. So positioning first, and then offense second. Okay? So you're standing in front of me. I have my hips behind my shoulders, my elbows in front of my knees. I do not compromise this. More importantly, I do not compromise the space between my elbows and knees, really. Like, I do not want to be reaching up to my opponent like this. This is how you see, if you watch jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff, you see guys get caught in these dumb triangles where a guy's sitting in guard, and the top guy just like throws a jumping triangle at him, and it's pretty embarrassing. If that happened to me, I'd be pretty embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie. This is why they're reaching out like this and doing this stuff. This is not necessary. We're gonna get them to bring things close to us. We're just gonna do that by compromising other things that are accessible. So the first thing we're gonna look for once we're here, my elbows are staying close to my knees, my hips are behind my shoulders, and I'm here. The first thing I'm going to try to make happen is I'm going to try to bring a foot behind his ankle. Just this. So if John starts trying to move around, just kind of have his foot. Go ahead and a little bit lively. Right. If you just kind of stay on. If I can, I'm going to work for both feet behind his feet, or both of the top of my feet behind his heels. Okay. The first thing we have here, guys, before we go into anything, is if I'm here and I have this, I'm just going to shove him back. Just going to shove him back. So it's kind of hard to step out of. The funny part about this, guys, is that the more that they try to accommodate for your feet being behind their heels, which I know a couple of you guys have been working on, they'll just fall trying to step free. If like I have John and we're here and you just kind of go light, like moving around, boom, and I just get here and you start walking around and start trying to pass, it's like, it's kind of easy for me to just topple him over just by staying connected, right? Does that make sense, guys? Now, this is the first thing we're going to just establish, is I just want to threaten his base by just putting my feet behind his heels. Once I get there and get into this fight where we're kind of doing this, you notice how his hands come down, right? He's going to try to grab my pant legs, right? I'm going to get wrist control. This is like the first thing I'm going to establish, is just control of his wrist. Remember, guys, when we do wrist control, I want the middle and the thumb to connect. I don't want to grab like I'm holding a Coke can. I want to grab like I don't know what else, you know, maybe I'm trying to get, like, you know, kick him in the butt. I guess that's one of those. But middle and thumb, I'm making this circle, and I want to hook the meaty part of his wrist. So if you look, let me move your arm. If you look, there's the bone, and then there's the soft tissue between the two. That's what I want to grab. If I grab like a Coke can, and you just like very lightly just start circling your hand around, right? It's like kind of easy for him to get free of that. Your thumb becomes a liability. But if I grab with the middle and thumb, give me that same degree of resistance, like, well, that doesn't make me look very good. So he goes and circles around. It's kind of easy, yeah, for me to kind of stay with it, you know. It's not impossible, obviously, for him to break free, but it's like just like a much stronger control. And then once I start limiting kind of where he can go with it, then it becomes pretty powerful, right? And again, also, what I kind of like about it too is that even if so say you go in that same direction where you break it, it's like the adjustment to the other side of the same grip. You guys see that? So I had it here, he circled to the outside, and so I just rotate and catch the same thing on the other side. And if he breaks it, like let's say you would probably go right exactly like that. I can circle. So I can kind of track his wrist pretty easy as we're like tussling and fighting. He's trying to break this grip, so you're trying to break this grip, right? Bam, and I just kind of adjust different things. And I can maintain kind of my distance because his wrists are low. From here, guys, I'm going to work to get some head control in the collar tie situation. Like at this point, I kind of have him beat, okay? Because once his posture is broken down like this, everything he does is sort of a liability. If he postures up too fast, he's going backwards, right? If he tries to stay into this fight with me, I can just start like kicking his shin out. You pull him in. If I wanted to pull into a guard at this point, this is a good moment to think about doing it, because now you see how he's broken down. And so, John, if you go to posture up, once I get this collar and sleeve, now, right, like, you see what I'm saying? By breaking his posture down piece by piece, first by getting him to bring his hands, because that is what he will do. If I start putting my feet behind his feet, he will start reaching down. Now I'm getting the wrist control. Now I'm getting the collar tie. There's all sorts of different options. Like, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds. I just want you guys to work on some of these ideas. But it's like, here, I'm back here. He brings his hands down. I start attacking. You know, it's like, you can just catch. Boom. Right? You can see where that goes. Like, you know, once I get here, I'll put one more option player to think about. Here, boom, catch here, here, right? I'm just going to flip back. Okay. Now I'm up. There's the sweep, right? Once I have him in a collar tie is a collar tie is a collar tie, basically, right? So if I can break his posture with him hunched over like that, he's not able to run. And that's the other thing. I'll say one last thing, and then I'll grab Jimmy and demo some of these ideas. It's like, from here, even with the feet, so let's say you're postured up, he runs past the feet. It's like kind of, okay, I can stay on him okay, but let's say we go back. You know, if I do nothing, but from here, let's say I had you break it down, it's like run past my feet. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, right? Once your posture's broken like that, and everybody understands posture is pretty important to not toppling over. So once I have you broken down, again, I didn't reach up and try to break John down. I just let him climb into the fight himself. So I'll grab you, Jim, so you can see. So the first thing is, guys, hips behind shoulders, elbows in front of knees. This is the first thing that I maintain, right? And again, that same drill that we've been doing, that little game we've been playing, he runs past my feet. It's like, dude, just here, right? He runs past my feet. Here. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just keep your body rotating. And then when I can find my feet behind his foot, my feet behind his foot, foot behind his, I can't talk.
You're doing great.
Thank you, Michael. It's like, even if I just have this one, if he starts trying to move around and stuff, it's like, it's kind of easy for me to just sort of scoop up his footwork. You know? Once I get both, boom. You're surprised how often that works, guys. Like, that is a fucking ridiculously high percentage.
No, that's not YouTubeable.
Oh, darn it. To cut it off and start over, right? So I get here. I'm in this fight, right? He's going to try to grab my pants. Be mindful of that, guys. Grab the wrists, right? I can grab his wrist, put my head in his chin. That's what we did from the wrestling today, right? Wrist control, head in the jaw, right? If he tries to break free his hands, it's like just kind of trap him, you know? Boom. Collar tie. Once I have this, guys, I basically have whatever I want. Like, this is kind of up to me, you know? Again, I could just switch to a collar and sleeve, pull in, and I'm ready to go. I can try to compromise him back down. So another way, actually, I'll show it real fast, is I'm here, and then kick forward, and now I'm in a butterfly, you know? Or we go right to the Cirque du Soleil. You see what I'm saying? So we'll just play around with, again, just get your feet behind their feet, wrist control, collar tie. And then some of the options being real fast. Obviously, sweep, he comes down, right? So let's go. I'm here. Option one, like, let's just say I'm here, and I just switch to a collar and sleeve, and at this point, I scoot in. Alternatively, I'm going to use just an elevator, like butterfly guard right here. So keep this collar tight, scoot in, start lifting. Again, I could do the Cirque du Soleil. I can just drift it back down and start working my mid-range butterfly. Look at that. Boom, there it is, right? Right where we work on. So we go back. And then last one, just kind of, again, I know there's a lot of little options, but it's just more like just positioning is what's important. I can show a million things from this. I'm here, and then maybe I just come up. Get my ankle fit. Does that make sense, guys? Let's play around and try it out.
Cool.
1, 2, 3.